Hi everyone, it's Eva Pietrzak here from Abundant Results Coaching, and today I'd love to share with you a technique, a tool that can speed up your manifestation. For many people, this is actually their blind spot. They don't know, and once you hear it and once you start practicing it, you go to your goals 10 times quicker. So the technique is called act of faith, which means that we take actions like we believe that the outcome that we're manifesting is coming about. And we take these actions even before we see evidence of everything lining up for us. This is literally, the action is an expression of I believe universe. And usually universe responds to that energy of I believe, because you're taking action with that energy. And then whatever you've been waiting for is actually coming to fruition. So let me give you some tangible examples. The first, or well, one of the most powerful situations that I experienced when it comes to act of faith is when I was paying 30% deposit for my house here in Spain. So that was November 2022. I put down deposit on my house, well, the initial deposit in May 2022, and then I was meant to pay the 30% deposit, which meant the house is, everything transaction is going through. And I had a timeline. By certain date, I had to pay that deposit, otherwise the house was off the market. However, at the time when I was paying that deposit, my mortgage was not yet secured. So I applied for 70% mortgage here in Spain. And what was really interesting was that this was the year when there was war in Ukraine and there was a lot of economic challenges going on in the world. And by the time that deposit was meant to be paid, I kept hearing from a lot of bankers and mortgage providers, there is no hope you're going to get 70%. At best, you're going to get 50, 60%. Banks are very careful right now. There is uncertainty in the world. It's just not going to happen. But despite of what they were saying to me, I kept manifesting every single day that I have my 70% and I have more than enough money to pay for my house. But there was that moment of I needed to make the payment before I knew, am I going to get that mortgage and am I going to get it at the level that I would like in order to be able to pay for that house. And I remember I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, if I pay that 600,000 cash and God forbid I'm not going to get the mortgage on time, what if I'm not going to get the house, and what if I may not get some of this money back? I mean, this is big money. And I remember reaching out to my mentor, and she told me about act of faith. She told me actually that when she was buying her house, she didn't know this at that time, but that was actually why she lost her first house, because she had similar situation. She didn't have all the ducks in a row. Her mortgage was not yet approved and she had to pay the prepayment and she didn't pay it, right? So she lost that house and then the mortgage came through 2 weeks after. So she said to me, if I knew what I know now, I would literally act on faith. I would act like you believe that you're going to get that 70% mortgage and you're going to get everything on time. And I would just take action and pay that deposit. So I was like, okay, game on, universe, I'm going to do that. And I went and I paid the deposit. And within 1 month, now that month was quite interesting because I was like, oh my God, are we getting it? Are we not getting it? Within 1 month, I received mortgage offer for 66%, which was unthinkable at that time. For a foreigner, for a company, it was just unthinkable, and it did happen. But I do believe that it happened because I took that action. I acted like I believe it versus I would hold off to paying because I have doubts. Is my mortgage going to come through at the rate that I want it? Another example, I really love this example, is a team member of mine, Zinat, when she was manifesting a trip. So she is in direct sales business, and when you have certain targets met per month or every quarter, you can win a trip to some sunny country, and it's really, really wonderful. So she was manifesting a trip, and I remember her telling me how she manifested that trip. Before she knew if she's gonna qualify, she packed her bags. Like literally, she went shopping, her suitcase was packed, and she was working on she was manifesting, obviously, but she was working on meeting her targets in order to fulfill that goal. Now, her outside world was not showing her that it's all coming together. She had quite a bit to catch up on in order to meet her target, but she acted like she's going. She literally packed her bags. She took action that indicated to the universe, universe, I have faith. Now, someone who does not believe, who is still doubting, would be like, oh, well, I'll pack my bags when I qualify, right? But this is something that you do. You take action that indicates that you believe what you're asking universe for is coming, and it happens. And then final example, this is an example from day-to-day business activities. I don't know if you ever experienced this, but sometimes there might be a bottleneck, or sometimes you might experience delays in receipts, right? So maybe you have clients who need to pay you next installment or balance for coaching or whatever service or product. Maybe you have some new clients that are supposed to come on board. They already told you they're in, but they haven't paid yet. Maybe you're waiting for some money to come in from somewhere and you feel like it's not coming easily. If that happens to me, I usually check in, am I circulating money with faith that money is coming back multiple times? And often I might catch myself, I'm holding off to that payment. So I don't know whether it's a mentorship payment or a bill payment or some sort of commissions. You might find yourself, okay, I'm actually reluctant to pay it because I would like to see the money from that client or that place coming in first before I make this payment. And the problem is that because you're not making this payment, the money is not coming, because universe will always match your emotional energy. So you're probably not making this payment because you're worried that this payment may not come in on time. So the act of faith would be, go and make this payment. And whenever I make that kind of payments, I'm like, thank you, money, for this wonderful, I don't know, whatever you're paying. Thank you, money, for this, for my cleaners, and for coming back to me multiple times. Thank you, money, for this wonderful mentorship service and for coming back to me multiple times. And when I release money with the feeling of, I'm releasing money with joy, knowing and believing that money comes back to me multiple times, it usually does. Now, it may not come back in the same day. It might take a few days, but that bottleneck, that financial bottleneck that was happening before, suddenly gets released and money comes back, and boom, the money is in my account and it multiplies. So usually what comes back is what I believe, multiple of what I'm circulating, and there's always more than enough. So I hope this has been valuable for you and it gives you some food for thought. I want you to think about, where is it that maybe I'm not acting like I believe it? Or maybe where is it that I'm acting like I don't believe it? And is there opportunity for me to shift that? Because when you express in action that you have faith that what you want is coming, you get that. Like literally it comes. Now, there may be timeline, right? So it may not be like, oh, 1 hour after. Although I've had situations when I made that kind of, when I decided to do act of faith, so let's say a payment, I would see something coming in on the same day. But it doesn't always fully come back on the same day. It might take a few days, or, for my mortgage, it took a month. But it came through because I acted like I believed it. So I hope this is valuable and you will identify 1 or 2 places where you can act more on faith, and you will speed up achievement of your goal. Have a beautiful day and thank you for watching. Hope you do apply and you see the results.